Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for today's show. And as you can see on my screen, we have a special guest on the show, and it's Double D from D&D Football Factory. Double D, how's it going, bro?
What's going on, brother? I'm all right, man. Well, actually, I'm not. Actually, I'm not pleased with the Champions League draw, but we'll get into that later.
You know what? Let's crack on with that straight away. So let's put it out there. So this is the draw that came about today. Talk to me about the new format, because we were speaking off air, and let's be frank. Me and you thought it was a bit of a BS sort of format, because how is it that we've got someone pressing a button and it's all generated automatically and
by the software? But trust the software.
Computer, AI, Chat GPT, whatever you want to call it. Like it was just a bit like it just. I don't know. It didn't feel authentic. We're probably not even sound like we're old people, but we're used to seeing my guy picking up the ball, revealing the team. That's authentic. But for even Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he was getting a bit fed up. He kept on talking about early. He's gonna say, "I just want to go home now. This is a bit long." So Buffon was like, "Yeah, this is long." Like no one was impressed, and they asked him, "What do you think of the format?" And they didn't really have an answer to it. So. What do you think of the format altogether?
I think it's bollocks. I was to use that word, but
go
it's a form of it looks like it's a form of appeasement, because they never got to break away with the Super League. It's one big league table for 36 teams, but the top 8 go through automatically, and then 9 to 24 will meet like in a playoff to decide the next 8 for the last 16, and then the rest of the teams are out, so there's no dropping into the Europa League like it had been in previous seasons, etc. But yeah, I was just watching it. I was thinking, what the hell is this? They're pressing a button and the game's just automatically not what some AI tech, some nonsense, bro. The software that's added fixtures and that. Before the draw even got made, I told any Liverpool fan that I know, we are getting Real Madrid. At least it's at home. But I said we're getting Real Madrid. Leverkusen in our group, that could have been the Europa League final last season.
Yeah.
Lille were no mugs. Bologna have lost their manager Motta to Juve, and they've lost a couple of players, but they are no mugs. Leipzig, we always seem to play these guys.
Yeah.
AC Milan, we know AC Milan. It's a winnable fixture, but that's what I'm saying. European heritage. PSV, we've played these guys a few times before, but it's all nonsense. Like I'm seeing in pot 4, I'm seeing teams like Slovan Bratislava and that, and one of the Pragues, and we couldn't get any of them. Look at these guys. You can't even look at one of these immediately and think that we can defo rest all the and Girona as well. They've just won they just slapped someone, I think it was 4-0 in their La Liga game.
Is it?
Wow. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, like, I don't know what to say, mate. I was expecting it to be easier. Like being in pot 1, there was no form of advantage. No advantage for being in pot 1, because you could get 2 teams from you. So you get 2 teams from each pot. So I knew that we was going to get Madrid. I expect us to still. How many points can I look at? I'm looking at that. 1, 2, 4. I think we can win 5 of those, which I would assume would be enough to be in the top 8 to go straight to the next stage. But
to be honest with you, I don't fear any of these teams. Obviously, Real Madrid are like the superstar team with all the signings they've made, but in any given day, it can be where you beat them and obviously it's at Anfield, so that gives us a bit of a home advantage with regards to the fixtures. So I think, look, by Leverkusen, obviously they had a phenomenal season last year, but I don't feel like they're a team that will struggle with, in my opinion. And then you've got Lille, decent pedigree, like you said. Bologna, they might have lost a few players here and there, but they still have that same ethos of how to play a certain type of football. So that hasn't changed. And then obviously heritage with AC Milan. Do you know what it is? I feel like just before the season was announced, it was confirmed that Liverpool was the 6th most watched team in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, the numbers are high in terms of TV, right? So it wouldn't make sense to give Liverpool, the Sparta, Prahas, and the Slovan, Bratislava, those teams. You're not going to get views from that, are you? So
screw what you wait for. It's what we want. But yeah, I hear you straight away.
Yeah.
It's the glamour, Liverpool Real. That's been a final twice recently. You get me? Like, it's to bring the money in that they want, man. If you where the what they call the sacrificial lambs.
Yeah. Because for me, like, I'm not saying that it's rigged or anything, but it could be if you've got Cristiano Ronaldo pressing.
If rigged is the word you want to use, I'm cool with it, bro.
Yeah, man. That's the word you want to use. I'm not impressed that even Ronaldo, he'll press the button. He'll just look behind, thinking, "What is this?" Like, he looked so baffled throughout the whole time. So
I think it was doing it first as well. I was confused because it was doing all the fixtures, and then it was saying, "Oh, this team needs to be." They were drawn out. I was thinking, but you've only got 2 or 3 of their fixtures already flipping there from this software generated. Like, I don't. Like, come on, man. Like.
I'm not with it. I thought it was so bizarre. Like, even when I started my watch along earlier on, I had to kind of confirm to the viewers what the format was. But even still, it's taken away the excitement of a cup competition. It shouldn't be in a league format. Now, obviously, we're all in our own sort of national leagues, and that's how it is. You've got your bread and butter, you've got the teams, go up and down, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, there's no relegation in this aspect. It's just that teams between a certain number get eliminated if you haven't qualified from 25th to 36th. But I feel like, I don't know, it could surprise us, but I just feel like it takes that element of that excitement of, facing a team where it could be knockouts.
Yeah.
Especially in the first phase of a tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know. And obviously, it kind of feels like we're playing 2 groups because there's no return fixtures here. It's just home, 4 home, then 4 away. So you're playing 8 teams.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do it where it enhances their sort of TV coverage because it's like, a team like Liverpool plays 8 different teams. And obviously that's why we've got so many big teams here. So
and now there's going to be Champions League games on Thursdays, isn't it? So
is it? I did not know that.
Apparently, so we can't even run the because there's so many games to fit in, so we can't even run. We can't even run the Thursday night football gags anymore.
Oh my god!
You get me, as vociferously as we would before, but
yeah,
it's a bit.
I did not know that. So it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, and this apparently, and this is the format for all. This is going to be the same format in the Europa League and the Conference League as well.
Okay.
It's a joke we've been at here. Yeah, it's all appeasement for there not being a Super League, bro.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, because I feel like the proposal of the so-called Super League, I'm not gonna lie, it shares a bit of similarities in terms of what this new format is. So they were like, hang on, like, so what? You trying to say our format's a bit dead? All right, fine. We'll get you out the door and we'll try and take your idea and make it into our idea.
Oh, they're saying that the players are playing too many games, so let's give them more games. Let's give them more European games. Let's go. Which is why with the League Cup tie yesterday, because of the close proximity, because of these 8 group games, or it's a league now, these 8 league games in Europe, the teams in Europe couldn't be drawn with each other in the League Cup, but yet we've still managed to get a Premier League team, even though we've avoided the Arsenals and Man Cities and whatnot. We've still got West Ham anyway, which is the type of draw we would have got regardless of whether
it's always Liverpool that get the tougher fixtures in the first phases. So no difference in the League Cup in terms of Carabao. Obviously, we're going to face West Ham, and there's no difference here as we've got household names coming up, but I'm confident we'll get through. I feel like we've got enough in the squad. My only concern would be our strength in depth, which obviously we'll touch on.
This is what I was just about to say. The squad, that's what we were saying on the club now. Any person under 21 is getting sold or shifted out on loan, bruv. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, there's some ageism going on here right now. You get what I'm saying?
Do you know what? Let's talk about transfers now. Let's just get into it. So, what have you made of the window? Because, like, it's all good and well trying to generate revenue.
What have I made of the window? There's been no window.
I know, and it's like we're selling all. Don't get me wrong. They're doing a good job by getting some big money through for players that, let's be honest, probably wouldn't have a chance in the first team.
Yeah.
But it's like this. Their focus has been, and when I say there, I mean Michael OZWRLD and Richard Hughes. Their focus has been on generating as much money as possible, but not necessarily reinvesting in the squad. Now, what have you made of the window? Because I'm on social media here and there, but a lot of fans, a lot of content creators have been very frustrated over the last few weeks. And look, I'll put my hand up as well. I've been frustrated as well. I've been calling Richard Hughes all kinds of names in the last few weeks. And look, I'm not taking them back because I feel like I had the right to say those things. But what have you made of it so far? Obviously, we've still got another day. We've still got 24 hours until the window closes. What have you made of it? Are you happy in terms of the business, in terms of outgoing, or do you feel like we've shot ourselves in the foot by reducing the squad number? Because if we're competing in the Champions League and playing these extra 8 fixtures and we're playing all these upper competitions, it's going to be very difficult for us to maintain a healthy squad throughout the season.
This is what I'm saying. So therefore, we're already putting ourselves at a disadvantage by making this sort of like the cup games are going to be interesting. Because obviously we would give the youngsters a run out before. We've sold Clark now. I wouldn't be surprised if the likes of McConnell get shifted out on loan. Though I saw some really good things from him last season. I think he's a good passer of the ball that with more game time can become a really, really good midfielder. I don't know what's going on. They loaned out Kubas. He scored on the weekend, actually. I don't know what's going on.
He's doing really well.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Tyler Morton. But yeah, I just can't believe in terms of the window that Zubimendi, who's already rejected Arsenal, rejected Bayern, I'm sure there's another team, Barca, he rejected and whatnot as well. We've tried to get him, even though it was unlikely he was going to move. He did have his head turned by whatever was said, but the wife didn't want to move down there. Understandable. Liverpool's not going to be as attractive as London, anywhere near as attractive as London, for instance. So understandable. But if you knew that it was going to be complex to get him, wherever the other targets, it shouldn't just be Zubimendi or bust, because even we got Endo last season.
Yeah.
Though that was under a different regime, and obviously Klopp was the manager. We were even still thinking, Endo, good squad player, but can he be the main one to be starting games consistently? So it's one of those ones where I don't know how they can look at that now, even though there's different people in, and then think that, like, don't get to, we have numerous people that can play there. We saw how many times McAllister was used in a deep role. Gravenberch has started this season there. I don't see any problem in keeping Morton and giving him some games there.
I hope he stays. I feel like if we don't keep Morton, we've shot ourselves in the foot, because Bashir's gone now. I think that's official that he's gone out on loan to Red Bull Salzburg. I'm actually pleased that he's gone there rather than Barcelona. Yeah, because I feel like he wouldn't get any game time at Barcelona.
Yeah, he'll play no, and Pep Linders knows him, so he'll get adequate minutes there. Because what someone said, I think it was on Kopish actually, what Callum, Drifty, and Matt were talking about was that all these things that Adam Wharton, who I'm a fan of at Palace, is doing, and what Kobe Made is doing for United. When Bajcetic first came into the Liverpool team, this is what he was doing. Like the only real glaring bad game I can say that he had was because he had to do that stupid pirouette against Real Madrid, and they broke us and then they scored. But he was coming in, he's able to shift the ball to get past the man, good pass on the ball, and he's tenacious in that as well. But the injuries have been for so long. As I said, I think the best thing is to go Salzburg, Pep Linders to use him properly, and then you get Adam a great game time and then come back, and I thought that he could be a future asset for us. But it shouldn't just be Superman. Was Andre that we were linked to is going to Wolves, right?
So now I heard something today, and I don't know if there's anything. I haven't got any like concrete source or anything, but I've heard we could be interested in João Gomez from Wolves because they've.
I was just about to say that because they're getting Andre, people now, Liverpool fans and Tottenham fans both now think that they're going to get João Gomez. But the joke is, we were linked to João Gomez anyway before he went to Wolves. Like, when I see some of the things, I even heard, again, obviously, the old regime, that we were the first team to look at Adam Wharton, but we didn't get him because we thought he was too similar to Bajcetic. And now Bajcetic has been loaned out, like, and Wharton will cost a fortune now. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just like just the things that this club does. Like, you know,
that's our history. You know, we've been doing that since the Rafa Benitez era. I'm telling you, we've missed out on so many like young guns that were on the verge of being top players. Yeah, literally, and like to hear that as well is so frustrating. Like, for example, we were linked with Varela as well. We were supposed to sign him last year because apparently he was available for like 12 million, and we were like, no, we don't think he's ready yet.
For me, was a Cagliari. We were linked.
Yeah,
we were linked to Varela,
and we let him go. Even one of our current players, Diaz, we were monitoring him. You know, that's our favorite word, monitor FC. Like monitoring over the years when he was in South America. But we were like, let him come to Europe, let him get accustomed to European lifestyle, and then
this let him come to Europe thing.
It's nonsense.
Bruno Guimaraes, with so many players that like we were the first ones looking at them from back when Edwards was there the first time, and then we let these players get bought by. It's like they want them to audition in Europe first, but then they're going to cost a ridiculous amount of money. But even you saying that there about Diaz. We've in this summer here, we signed Magoma, the youngster from Chelsea, who's meant to be brilliant, but he's not going to come into the first team immediately. We signed Mamadashvili, so they told Alisson they were going to do it first. So you're future proofing because he's only 23. I actually thought he was older when I saw him in the Euros, so I checked his age, right? But a lot of people are cussing because like I didn't see it as bad as they did, but a lot of people are cussing him with the ball at his feet. He didn't look great at the Euros. There were 1 or 2 times he was hesitant with it, but it didn't look as bad as what
he's more of a shot stopper. He's not like Alisson in that regard. He doesn't have that distribution, but I think that could be something that can be worked on. Even if it's to like a slightly improvement, then it's still fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't get goalkeeper like Alisson with that kind of distribution. It's very rare as well to find someone with that elite talent. So I think in terms of shot stopping, I think it's a good signing. Like I said, it's a future-proof signing, and for £30 million, look, it's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Not all. Then obviously Chiesa, which we'll get into that I'm pleased about. But we future-proof the goalkeeper position, right?
Yeah.
But so you can only say out of defense, midfield, and attack. In recent years, it's only the forwards that there's been any form of future-proofing or depth added. But it could have all been so different, bro. Diaz, as you've just said, we were looking to get him in the summer, but we hurried it along in 2022 because Tottenham were close to sorting something. So we came, and obviously he's picked Liverpool. Gakpo, looking at him for ages. Man United were on the verge of sorting something. Even in the World Cup, their Man United official website put up a video of him scoring because they thought they were going to get the deal sorted, right? And then because they were coming in, then we hurried it along, got him in January. So imagine those deals went left. What type of thing will be? Where will we be necessarily in front of the front line about that? We might have been going out and getting some people that it might have been Somerville, the likes of Crescencio Somerville, who we would end up have been getting recently. You get what I'm saying? But
we're very reactive. We're not strategic in terms of what we do. We're reactive when there's an interest shown.
And the zenith of Edwards' first tenure, you get me? We were you get what I'm saying, Bob? We were already buying players, good players, making them star players, and it's just all you get me, but
that's not how big club runs the club. It should be where you're thinking, all right, do you know what? Next season we're gonna get this. Like it should be you're thinking 2-3 steps ahead. I always feel like with us, like we're content to just be one step ahead max.
Yeah.
And then we've got a list of targets. You know, I said it in the summer where I felt like it was going to be Zubimendi or nothing. And at the minute, that's what it appears to be. And I'm not buying it by the fact that some fans are saying to me, oh, you know, there aren't that many defensive midfielders out there. There are plenty of names out there that can do a job within the club. And I'm not buying that for me personally. I feel like there's so many names that can do a good job. And like, yes, you know, some people say, oh, under Klopp, we were looking at a destroyer. And now we've got a different type of profile. We want to get a deep line playmaker. There's plenty of them out there. I can name you like 5 that are decent and I can do a good job. So for me, it's like we're so slow in terms of like reacting. Like the Mamadashvili one, like it's a great signing because we have, like I said, we've future-proofed it, but we're not used to seeing that, if that makes sense, because it's not the way Liverpool do business. So I'm quite happy that
I was bemused at that.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking
that's unlike us.
But since then, I've seen what Alisson has come out with. But the board need to look at it in terms of the individual rather than the system that they don't want to give out big contracts to players over 30.
Yeah,
because Salah should be sold up. I'm worried about Trent going on the free. These are core players for the club in the last 7 years that could be all walking out for free. Even this morning, I didn't see it for that long because I was recording a pod yesterday, and then I'm waking up to a Mo Salah interview talking about, oh yeah, I just want to enjoy the end and we'll see how it goes. So that's Swahili for him, basically saying that he's that he's gonna go.
I can't lie to you.
Saudi. I mean,
I'm concerned, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm concerned. Like the Trent one, the way he was rolling his eyes on Slot the other day.
What was up with that?
Listen, that's when you don't like the person. It's not about, oh, I don't like him as a coach. He despises that person. He's like, nah, don't even talk to me. Like, you know when you bump into someone like you don't like, don't talk to me. That is
Klopp was like his dad in it. So obviously you saw him and Van Dijk especially seem to be taking that Klopp farewell.
Yeah. And the Van Dijk interview after the Brentford game, for me, that sounds like he's leaving. And I'm not trying to put that energy out there.
Yeah.
For him to be like, oh, we'll see what the future holds. And, you know, Anfield's such a great place, you know, like if this is my last time, then, you know, let's try and do the best we can do this season. Like he was speaking very like he's already set his mind up. Like this is a great place. It's a great place to play football, and it has been a great place over the years.
Yeah,
that sounds like someone's ready to walk out the door.
Not good.
And the Mohamed Salah one where he's added a little spin where he's like, oh, I'm enjoying my moment and we'll take it a day at a time. For me, that shows that he wants to stay, but he's waiting for the club to give him a good proposal. So I think out of the 3, which sounds silly, I think Salah would be the most likely one to stay if the club are willing to give him an extension. I actually don't think Salah would even want like huge terms, like improved in terms of what he's earning right now. I think he actually just wants to stay at the club and continue to help in terms of build his legacy and stuff. So Van Dijk, I'm not gonna lie, is a question mark. But Trent, for me, just I don't know, and I don't want to put that energy out there, but I do feel quite concerned with these 3 players in terms of their contract extensions. But obviously, we'll know in due time in the coming months, and hopefully we hear something before December, because when it hits January, they're free to discuss terms with.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Overseas.
And the thing is, what will probably be more attractive to him with the Madrid thing as well is that it might not even be a case where Trent would be going there to replace Carvajal. He could be the Cruz replacement in central midfield to keep it ticking over. Because I don't know if you've watched Madrid so far this season, only it's a few games in. The control in the football matches isn't necessarily there. I think they're drawing as we speak against they drew 1-1 with Las Palmas today, but they did not. They got, last week they had a torrid time against Mallorca. I don't know if you saw that video that went viral with Jude talking to Mbappe and Vinicius and that half time, saying that the balance is just the left side of the pitch is being crowded too much and people are running directly through the midfield and that. But so I think people underestimated exactly the balance and the game management that Tony Cruz brought to that team. Because I know some people surprisingly don't rate him. So if they've told him, if they've already kind of spoke, because it seems like Jude is doing some little tapping up and whatnot, might be a midfield thing that will appear more attractive to him, because you see him in interviews, whenever he gets asked what his favourite position is, there's always a momentary silence and he'll he'll do what the gaffer tells him to do and whatnot. But you can tell he wants his thing in midfield, man. But yeah, it's just a bit of a mess at the moment. And I feel for Slot, because I actually like the press conferences and the ruthlessness that he's shown thus far.
Yeah. I like what he did in the opening game with Konsa. And I know some people might think that's harsh, but I feel like that is what you call a real tactician. That it wasn't about hurting the guy's feeling or whatnot. He wanted to make changes to improve the team. And it ended up being a masterstroke. We got the win in the end because of that inclusion of Konate on the pitch. So I like that in terms of a coach, where you have to be a bit more ruthless, because this is a Liverpool Football Club. We have a lot of talented players in our squad. It's not just the first 11 or nothing. The bench is as solid as it has been over the years. And I just feel like we're just missing one or two players to make it a proper, complete squad. So in terms of Trent, I don't know. It's the signs are not good, but we'll patiently see what happens over the coming months. But in terms of incomings that have actually been, confirmed, we spoke about Mamadashvili earlier on. Chiesa, talk to me, Double D. How do you feel about Chiesa signing for Liverpool?
I retweeted one tweet I did, because since this brother's been a few,
let me bring up for the people right
look
there.
Look at that.
And look at the timestamp as well.
2019. Come on. Since he was at Fiorentina, since he was at Fiorentina, I've wanted him at the club. I was vexed when you went Juventus, because Inter are my Italian team, so nothing Juventus too angers me. But like, it's just a directness. Sometimes he can be a bit head down at times, but it's the directness, and the guy the boy can finish, man. But that directness, and I think he can play right or left. Actually, you heard that, but I've not been able to double check on it, that he actually scored more goals in his career on the right hand side, and I feel that him coming off the bench for the last one, because we've seen Slot wants to make sure he's showing it's a marathon, not a sprint. So he has no problem. And I like that. You can use 5 subs, use the 5 goddamn subs. Right. So if you're winning, get Bradley on for Trent. If you're an FPL player, it can be annoying. But get Bradley on for Trent. Get Chiesa on for Salah. And if Trent is still on the pitch, I think Trent on that side with a right footer ahead of him could be a mad thing, because it can drag defenders in another direction, because Salah's always going to bring them inside, coming onto his left foot. So I'm happy. Obviously, the injuries have been there. He had the ACL, etc. The same explosive hasn't 100% been there. But this guy's spoken well of the club in the past.
Yeah.
A video went viral again, even though it's not new, of when he was asked who was the best out of
Lampard,
Gerrard. Yeah, Gerrard, and he said Gerrard. And even today, he actually made me a little emotional. He is over the moon at signing for Liverpool. You know what I'm saying? And the fact he speaks fluent English is going to make him he's implemented. He's going to make it. He's going to make the transition. You get what I'm saying? Very smooth for him. So yeah, I'm excited, man. If the guy can stay fit, £10 million, what could go up to 12.5 if hopefully we win the Premier League and the Champions League. Come on, man. No
10 million is nothing in this day and age. Let's be honest. 10 million is nothing.
That's peanuts,
we sold Carvalho for almost 28 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy about that. But we spoke about that. But I wasn't happy about.
Yeah,
I don't think he's been given a fair chance, Carvalho.
No, I actually thought this would have been the season where he would have at least played another season on a slot, because I feel like with a 4-2-3-1 formation, he can definitely play that number 10 role, but also shift over to the left. And I feel like it would have suited his game a bit more. But I don't think that was an Slot decision. I think that was upstairs.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
Thought, you know what? We can get some money from him. And I always felt like when we signed him, I was excited about the signing when we got him from Fulham.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know where he'd fit in the team, because there was always a comparison that, he could be the next Coutinho. So everyone's head was like, he can play as a left side number 8, but he's never played as an 8 in his career.
Yeah.
And for that position, you've got to be a bit more tactically astute, but also physically stronger as well. And Coutinho didn't look it, but he was very strong on the ball.
Yeah.
So obviously, when he used to glide with it, it made a big difference to the team. So yeah, so I always feel like he was brought in as, you know, a money ball signing where, you know, we're going to flip him and then make a profit out of him as well at the end of the day. So, but in terms of Chiesa, look, I'm very pleased about this signing. I've been saying it all summer that we need to address that right wing position because Salah's never had cover in that role. We've played Diaz, we've played Gakpo, we've played Jota. None of them have really, in my opinion, they've done it for me. They don't look natural in that role. You mentioned Chiesa scoring his goals in the right wing. I don't know in terms of the goals, but I do know for most of his career, he's actually started right wing the most. I think he's made about 90 odd appearances, and I think he's made about 200 or so appearances in his whole career. So that has been his predominant position, whether it's from Fiorentina days or
and has played sporadically as a false nine.
Yes, that's where he's played at Juventus all last season. That was his main role. So for me, that shows you he's multifunctional. You can play on the right, which is someone that I wanted that could play natural. And I feel like a lot of us fans, we kind of got sucked into thinking that it's going to be a same type of player in the mold of Salah, a left-footed right winger. Sometimes you don't need it to be like for like. Like, for example, when we bought Mane played on the right wing at first, and then we brought in Salah, and then we switched it up. So we had a different process altogether. So I always thought, why can't we get a right-footed winger on the right side that could cut in as well? Because that would just add a different option altogether. So Chiesa would have been like the one I would have said earlier on. And I still can't believe he's actually a Liverpool player now, because I don't think that was a realistic target for us from years back. And even now, because early in the summer, they actually wanted 60 million for him. But because there was no concrete interest in him, I think Barcelona wanted to sign him, but they've got their own problems. They can't register anyone right now. So they weren't in a good position to sign him. And I felt like as soon as a club like Liverpool came, I feel like he was like, you know what, this is the one for me. So like I said, he looked very emotional in his interview.
Yeah, he's dead.
And crying. I think his dad played that.
His dad told him, and his dad told him as soon as he said he phoned his dad as soon as he heard that Liverpool were interested, and his dad said, "Go there, get me." I was a big fan of his dad back in the day when he was at Parma, especially, but obviously he was at Fiorentina as well. Chiesa did a madness, but Enrico, you know. But I think I'm slightly more optimistic. Obviously, people are talking more about the injuries and whatnot, and he's this and that. But I'd be happy anyway, because as I said, I've wanted the guy for years. But because we've been so starved in this window, we got to be happy about something in it. We've got to be happy if a signing has been made, because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, we're screaming DM, screaming, but I understand he wants someone to take the ball off of the centre backs, and not every DM could do that. Someone more competitive, so we want more of a deep lying mid, than like a combative DM. But that and a left-sided centre back that can play left back as well. We had a discussion on one of your previous pods. Well, not discussion in the chat. Hincapié is someone you spoke about. I think the first time I watched him at Leverkusen, he didn't have a great game, so I've never liked him as much as others. I can just be like that. But same thing with Thingy. Though he's not a centre back, I'm not the biggest Anthony Robinson fan, but I know quite a few people that love him off, and I'm thinking, you love him off now. Do you know how long he's been at Fulham for? Like, you're just talking about him now. He played for America in the World Cup. You never said didn't think about it, but now he's the best thing since sliced bread, whatever. You get me? I've seen that man get twist up. You get me? But but yeah, in terms of this, I want Hanchko, man. That
from finals.
From finals. So I'm not always the fan of a manager bringing a bag of players from their previous club, but in this instance, I would have been cool. Mats Weaver's gone to Brighton for peanuts.
I know, that's a great.
It makes no sense to me. Cook Miners obviously had him at RZ. He's gone to Juve yesterday. I've been a fan of that guy for ages, ages. That RZ team. I used to always talk about Bouadou, his career's not gone to the heights that I thought he would. Coop Miners, who obviously DM but could play centre back as well. Now, last season he was playing as a 10 for Atalanta, in quite a few games, and then Calvin Stengs as well. But Stengs, like when Antwerp didn't really work, he's back at final now. But it's because of them three. This is the season. The season we won the league. That was when I first found out about, because they beat Ajax 2-0 literally the weekend before the pandemic. So they were joint with them at the top, and the Sky Sports were coming out and saying that Ajax have been denied the title. And I thought, does anyone do their research then? They're flipping them for the points at the top of the table. But when they beat Ajax, Koopmeiners played that outrageous pass. He played centre back in that game for Idrissi, I think it was, that got the goal. And some of the football that he was playing. So then seeing Slot, though, what you say, what Slot was third choice off behind Amorim and obviously Alonso, the main one. But I watched Feyenoord batter Lazio in the Champions League last season, so I was cool with him coming in because I saw the type of football what he was about, and obviously he won the league the season before last. But he's been brought in as a head coach, so it doesn't look like he's got as much say over certain things. You mentioned Carvalho earlier, as it would seem, because you're looking at it there, you're thinking that, can man really, are we going to scramble to have to get someone in January? Because though Gravenberch has started well, as much as I will cuss Man United, that will be a test for him on Sunday, because in transition, it's probably the only way that they can hurt us, because we play slower now. So we're more likely to be able to manage games. So if he doesn't have a good game in there in the centre, it could be detrimental to us. So
no, you mentioned Gravenberch. I think he's had a good start to the season. I haven't been hugely surprised by his impact, because I saw that ability in Ajax, where he played that in the double pivot on a number of occasions. He also did it for the under-21 Netherlands team as well. So he's played in that position quite a bit. I just feel like people were quite, their reason in terms of his impact was not justified, that he didn't have a good season last year. Remember, we signed him on the last day of the window this time last year. So he didn't really have a preseason under our regime. He was at Bayern Munich, but they didn't really show him that respect, or they didn't really have him, playing in sort of full gear or anything like that. So obviously it took him time to find that rhythm, and he's been inactive as well due to his time at Bayern Munich. So for me, it was always going to be that first season where he was just finding his kind of rhythm again and just trying to figure out what suits him going forward. And I feel like this role suits him really, really well. I think it suits his skill set. He does the simple things so well. So even when he gets the ball from the centre back and he does that half turn, Endo struggles with that, and that's why Endo's on the bench now, because he doesn't have that.
You can't really receive it. Or receive it on the half turn.
He doesn't have eyes on his back, so it doesn't work. So you can't always just play football from the front. You've got to do it in all different angles. So I feel like he does that really well, and then his distribution is kind of underrated. I feel like he's got a good range of passing on him as well. So I think it's going to be a big season for Gravenberch, but I feel like it's a position we should have addressed in terms of adding another body to the squad. And the left-sided centre back, I think we've all been screaming about it for such a long time. And we always get told, there's not a lot of options out there. There's so many options out there. My personal choice, I've got two. The dream is Bastoni, but I don't know how real that. I don't think that's realistic at all. But the realistic option for me would be Joao Hato from Ajax. Yes, he looks like a big talent. Like, people are speaking very highly of Euro at Manchester United. I feel like he's in that same wavelength, because he's 18. He's playing left back / centre back. He's very industrious in how he plays. Got great technique. He can shoot as well for a centre back. He's got everything. He's like a powerful, strong, quick. So in terms of recovery, he's not going to struggle in any shape or form. So that would be my guy right there. But who knows? But big question for you: if you were able to sign 2 players before tomorrow, obviously realistic signings as well, who would it be?
In terms of as we said, Hanshaw,
so that's your centre back.
Would be my centre back / left back. Oh, DM. We've been, but James Pierce has rubbished it. He's always the party pooper, isn't he? Eze, the Argentine. I saw him. He scored. Very busy midfielder. He scored against Villa when Olympiacos beat Villa at Villa Park last season in the Europa Conference League, and that was really doing rounds about 6 to 8 hours ago. So Pierce, the party pooper as usual, tweeted a couple of hours ago that apparently, it's not going to happen. But
what's his name? Who is this player?
Hezze. He's Argentine DM.
Okay, Santiago Hezze. Okay, so he plays for Olympiacos. Did you say?
Yeah,
okay. And they had a great season last year as well, didn't they?
Proper busy little midfielder. But I don't know if they would think his passing range might be up to it. But at 22, that's a perfect age for improvement. There's enough of first team football being played because he was at Huracan in Argentina.
Yeah.
So enough teams been played. So, but who a DM? I obviously would have said Andre, but as it might be a case where he's going Wolves now. So what DM? I can't really think. All the people I can think of are like they centre mids like Florian Neuhaus or Edison. So
João Gomez, does he tick your boxes?
But even João Gomez, he's more box to box though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I feel like that is. I actually don't feel like we're going to get that kind of deep line number 6. It's going to be a player that's box to box but has defensive awareness. Like that's like one of their strong points. So a player like Edison kind of fits that bill. Even though I feel like he's one of those players where he's not spectacular in every aspect of the game, but he's very good in terms of what he does. He's very industrious in terms of how he plays. So it's interesting.
He did a really good job against us because obviously Atalanta went man for man against us. So he was dropping out sometimes and covering men in the wider positions, and he did a job in there. But you're saying realistic, so that's the ones I'm thinking about realistic. You don't really hear the names of people like Florentino Luis anymore at Benfica, who say 2 years ago was like having everyone's thing. I don't know what happens. These Portuguese guys, because you remember when William Carvalho was a lick back in the day, and then like 18 months later, then everyone thought he was shit. He was highly sought after as well. So let's just go Edison, even though he's not really he's not a DM like that. Let's just go Edison.
No, it's a fair shot.
No, actually, forget. Actually, we didn't use the money last season on Sachado, so it's still there somewhere unless John Henry's got it in a safe somewhere. Get flipping Adam Wharton, bruv, man. Palace will take the money. 70 mil go. Don't get twisted. Players in that with those attributes should never be. No. I'm just guessing. Okay. Players with those attributes, with that skill set, should never be costing that much. But this is the day and age that we live in. Go get Adam Wharton, man.
Yeah, but we messed up on that one. Like you said, we had interest in signing the kid last year, but we thought, and I hate that thing about Liverpool as well. It's like, we're not going to sign someone because it might, stop his development. Just bolster the squad, for God's sake. Like you can't think like that, because 12 months in football is a long time. Anything can happen. Like you mentioned, William Carvalho was like the next, the next Vieira. Like he was like touted as that kind of guy. And then my guy was just the complete opposite after a year. And it's like you mentioned Florentino Luis. He was valued at like 80 million 2 years ago.
This is what I'm saying.
Everton were linked to him for like 15 million. I don't think they even went for him in the end. So
you barely even hear his name, whatever it was. Even another Spanish player. Doucouré.
But is he
another one? He's another one that we were meant to get before the him.
I know. Like, I covered him before last summer, and I said that could be someone we could look into. And Palace ended up getting him.
Jesus Christ, man!
We always are slow to react. So, in terms of my targets,
Pine in FC, bro. Pine in FC. Just watching that.
So for me, the Ajax defender, that's the one I want. I would love Bastoni. I just don't think it's realistic.
Yeah.
However, you know, Bastoni and Chiesa are good friends. So
There you
maybe that
go.
could be a January move.
There you
Who
go.
knows? That's wishful thinking. But in terms of now, Hato would be the one I want from Ajax.
Yeah.
And the centre mid, I mentioned this on my show yesterday, and I know a lot of fans won't like it, but last season we signed Endo as a stopgap signing because we couldn't get the main target, which was Caicedo, right? This year, Zubimendi was or Lavia. Zubimendi was supposed to be that guy this year. We messed up that deal once again. So Endo is supposed to be leaving the club. Like there was interest in him from Marseille, but for some reason that move never happened.
They offered peanuts though. They were taking them
14 mil, I think, or something like that.
You're gonna offer us less than what we bought him for a year later. And we must.
And his profile's increased since then, so that makes no sense. So I was thinking with Endo, he's not going to have a long-term future at the club. So the max he'll stay is another year, and then we'll probably sell him next year. So why not sign a player that is kind of regarded as another stopgap, and then next summer he will replace Endo's position in the squad, and then we get another elite player in that number 6 role. So I feel like we should sign. So like a João Gomez, for example, that we've been linked with today, that makes sense to me because he can be the Endo replacement next year in terms of squad depth, and then we'll just have like a, I don't know, like a Varela or someone like a bit more elite, in my opinion. Because now we still have this quality in the squad to kind of go on and challenge for all titles. So for me, I probably would have gone for Edison, to be honest with you. I feel like that deal should have happened. I feel like for 35 million, that was his availability as well. I think like that's a steal. So for me, I would have said Edison. If I had to choose like a dream signing, like I did with Bastoni, I'd probably say Varela. I really like the look of Varela. He's got a mix of like Mascherano, but at the same time, he's got a very good passing range about him as well.
Yeah.
Should have signed him last year, but that's another story. So I'd go for Edison and Hato. Whether they're realistic, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get some breaking news as we go on. I've just got a comment here from Hakeem. He said, "Big up Ozzy, big up Hakeem. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in, bro." Okay, so that's the transfers done and dusted. Hopefully, we get some breaking news whilst we're doing the show. You know what I mean? Always nice to get those kind of moments. But
of us trying to get someone.
I know you'll see our true reactions if we're linked to it.
Yeah, that's what
names
I'm saying.
That we've spoken about.
That's the dream. That's the dream. Right?
Do you know what I mean? But this weekend we've got a big game coming up: Manchester United versus Liverpool. In match week 3, it's come earlier than it normally does, which I'm all for it. To be fair, right now we're in, I would say, a lot more of a positive position. We've won our 2 opening games, 2-0 victory, clean sheets, which is was a rare commodity under Jurgen Klopp. So I'm all for it because I know a lot of fans have been a bit not impressed with Arne Slot in terms, and this is the minority. Don't want it to seem like it's all fans, but they're not used to us playing a more controlled, a bit more of a measured manner. I'm all for it. I love to see different variations of football. It doesn't have to be 100 miles per hour, all guns blazing all the time.
And I like you talk about that it's being slower. Do you know what we should do, but we won't do it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say that in terms of the position that we were just talking about. Because we're playing slower, so we would get Fabinho back. It's never gonna happen, but that's what I do. Get Fabinho back.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to be I don't like the using term, not like a workhorse. It doesn't have to be like a player that runs around it doesn't need to be. It's a more measured game now.
It's this
intelligence, and they need to. The passing has to have a purpose. It's not just sideways passing. It's about hitting it through the lines and trying to create openings for the team. So defensively, you do your job, but at the same time, as soon as you get that half turn, look forward. So like how, back in the day, we used to watch English football where it's 4-4-2. Your 2 midfielders, the centre midfielders, one will drop deep, one will go a bit forward. It's the same kind of variation. And it ends up altering to be a bit more of a free midfield where when you switch it around a little bit. So, but in terms of what we're seeing under Arne Slot, I've been impressed. Obviously, you've been a fan of him from his Eredivisie days. terms of Manchester United, they haven't had the best of starts. They've probably got a lucky win in the opening game against Fulham. OZZIE'S with the left-footed toe punt. I don't know how you want to describe it. And then last week, they got humbled. They were defeated by.
But Brighton always beat them, and people were just surprised when Brighton have been slapping these guys, man.
Trust me,
the last few years. And there wasn't even no Pascal Gross there this season like it usually is. Been. Obviously,
it's a different. They've signed a lot of players. Signed a lot of players, but it's a different team now. So they're still, they're going to be a surprise team. I think this year. I think they look very impressive. But
their manager's only 31. Like they could go on and do a madness.
Younger than us.
They're spending. This is what I'm saying, bro. Without revealing our ages, he's younger than us. but yeah, no, it's a mad thing still. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy watching Brighton. Outside of us, out of anyone in the Premier League, that is who I try to make sure I watch them as much as possible, man.
In terms of what they do on the pitch, I agree, but I love the way they do business. I think they're so smart. And the signings they've made
club in this league for time
by far. And even the signings they've made, they've spent about 200 million from what I heard earlier on.
Yeah, but that's just because the P's just been sitting there, so then they're spending it because Sachado money, McAllister money, they've got so, you get me, there's been so much P there. Undav's gone permanently to Stuttgart after being on loan there last season. You get what I'm saying? I mean, I like Dennis Undav. So it's wait a minute. Oh,
breaking news?
I think James Pierce is watching this podcast. He said Liverpool are not, contrary to reports, Liverpool are not planning a late move for Porto's Alan Varela.
I'm talking about Varela as well, as a dream sign.
He's listening, so he thought, let me shatter dreams.
Just break my dreams and hopes of signing Varela. That guy, proper party people. But look. How are you feeling about this game? Because I'm confident in terms of how we're playing. I'm not getting overexcited, just because we beat Ipswich Town, we beat Brentford. I'm impressed in terms of how we're playing our football. I'm impressed in terms of how the players have bought into this new philosophy, this new way of playing under Arne Slot. Yeah. So how are you feeling getting into this game?
Away at Man United.
We're at Old Trafford, yeah.
I'm saying away at Man United, I can never be overly confident.
Okay.
Because realistically, in terms of the starting lineups that are going to play, even if Ugarte starts for United, a player that I've wanted at Liverpool for a hot minute, right?
Yeah, good player.
Right? Even if it was a case where he was to start, when I look at the 11s that will probably start the game, we should be beating them. But football doesn't work like that. It's not one on paper like that. Too many times we go to Old Trafford and we play the occasion rather than the football match.
Do you think that'll be different this time around?
It should be, because we're going to play slower. But we showed these men too much respect. And at the moment, actually, I won't reveal my score prediction because obviously you're going to have a segment for that later on.
Yeah.
But I can't sit there and think that we're going to do to this team what I think that we should be doing, because something stupid will come in. Last season, we were all over them.
Yeah.
And then the mistake by Kwanzaa, and then it's a brilliant finish by Bruno Fernandes. And then after that, we're going to lose the game. If it wasn't for the late Salah penalty, then we would have lost to these bums. I can't believe they had such a bad season last season. And we played them not once, not twice, but 3 times and didn't beat them in any of the games. Couldn't even score past them at Anfield. So the fact we're playing slower should allow us to manage the game better. We should be able to do them in, but I'm still skeptical.
No, that's a fair assessment. No, that's a fair assessment. I think, under Jurgen Klopp, I feel like there was too much emotion going into those games. I feel like, like I said, we were playing for the occasion rather than having an objective to get 3 points from the games, if that makes sense. So I feel like with this new approach, I hope that it's not about who we're facing. It's about just doing the job on the day, and to be tactically set up where we know their weaknesses, we know the areas that we need to take advantage of and try and execute a game plan rather than thinking, it's Manchester United, our biggest rivals, because that needs to be out the window. We have to be calm and measured, just the way we play our football mentally as well at the same time. So I'm hoping this new approach definitely gives us a new way of playing against United because Old Trafford. I know in the last I think five or so games, the scoreline is like 26-7 between us. Yeah, so obviously it's a big scoreline. Obviously we've battered them here and there, but
Yeah,
the last season was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. The FA Cup one, that really annoyed me.
that was
To a
horrible
different level.
because if we win that, I think we would have gone and won the competition and done both cups again like we did 2 years ago. To be honest,
It kind of ruined our season. I feel like it definitely took the sting of our
they
target
single-handedly ruined
league
our.
as
If you look
well.
at the timing of the results, even
Yeah,
going back to the goalless draw, which was in December, was it? They
yeah,
single-handedly ruined our season.
yeah. As hard as it's to say, I do feel like they definitely hampered our progress. So I've just got a comment here from Daz. That says, "Where can we pressure United?"
Great question, because really, again, I'd have to look at on the right Trent and Salah. I think Trent and Salah could win this. Just them two could win this football match for us.
Yeah,
I don't think if Mazraoui plays left, I
would be
think he's.
Dallo. No,
I
would
think
Dallo
he's.
not play on the
Would it, would,
left?
it, would it be? Yeah, actually, it probably will be that. And that's even
Yeah,
worse because flipping, I don't rate Dallas for his defending. Back when we had that goalless draw with Porto, um, after we beat them 5-0, that was what was
yeah,
that in 17-18 season when we had
yeah,
um, Dallo. The second leg was got a goalless draw, wasn't it, at Anfield? And
yeah.
Dallo played in that game, and from then to me, he's always looked better going forward than any of his
Yeah,
defensive work.
he's good, decent. Yeah,
So yeah, I think whether it be Dallo or Mazraoui, as you said, it's probably going to be Dallo on the left hand side. I think
yeah.
on United's left, so all right. I
All
think
right, yeah,
Trent and Salah can cook them on the right hand side,
yeah.
but
I think so. I think that'd be the way to go. And we'll touch on a bit more in terms of tactics, but I think that is definitely an area we'll need to do in terms of target certain players because there's players that are being played out of position and defensively they're not as sound as they should be in those roles. So we'll touch on that very shortly. So what I'll do now, I'll present the team news and see if there's any injuries for both teams. So for Manchester United, they've got a long list of injuries that include Højlund, Euro, Lindelof, Shaw, and Malacia. And new signing, as we mentioned earlier on, Ugarte could be featured in the matchday squad, but it remains to be seen if he's in the lineup or on the bench. But we'll, I'm sure, find out in due course. And then we can kind of decide if we feel like he is going to sign, we can put him in the lineups if we choose to. In terms of Liverpool, no new injury concerns for Liverpool apart from Curtis Jones, who picked up a knock in training last week. So as far as I'm aware, there's no further news with regards to injuries, and the rest of the squad should be available. New signing Federico Chiesa should be eligible to be selected for the squad. I'm not sure if he
Church.
will. I hope so. I would love to see him off the pitch. But
Church, baby, church.
will it happen? Remains to be seen in terms of if he's included in the matchday squad. So that's the team news right there. So what we can do, we can share our screen and we'll predict the home team. So we'll predict the United predicted lineup, and then we'll go on to Liverpool and speak. And we'll go into and speak about our beloved Liverpool as well. So let me bring up the graphics for you guys, and then we can chop it up. So yes, here we go. So this is the formation that I'm expecting Manchester United to play. Do you think they'll play in a different manner, or do you think it'll be a 4-2-3-1 formation?
Yeah, I think it'll be 4-2-3-1. I just think that well, we'll get there. I just think there'll be a change at the top. I don't think there'll be too many changes from what they've been playing, but just up top.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So let's do the lineups for Manchester United. So in goal, it has to be Onana. I don't think they really have anyone else.
Hopefully, he does something random and helps us
I
get a
know.
goal.
Hopefully, he has one of his
We hope.
bizarre moments or a rush of blood,
Yeah.
however you want to phrase it. We both agreed Dallo to start at left back. That'll be the most likely selection there. They're very weak in that area. I'm surprised they haven't strengthened this window. I think they were linked to Chilwell, but he's not any better than Luke Shaw, to be honest with you. So that would have made sense for them. Right back, it would be Mazraoui, the new signing.
Mazraoui,
Mazraoui, so he is there. And the centre backs.
You'd think it would be Maguire and the Butcher, but I would be surprised if you throw De Ligt in there, you know.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Just for the fact that it's Liverpool.
Do you think he will?
What do you think? You think it'll still be slabbed? You think it will
I think he might. I think he might just start Maguire, but then slowly embed De Ligt.
Okay.
Against a different team, only because I feel like this is I don't know. I think it's too much of a big game to just throw in De Ligt right away. So yeah, I would say Maguire. Obviously, on paper, Maguire is not the better player, but I feel like for the present moment, I think it would be Maguire that starts this game.
Yeah.
In terms of the double pivot, Mainu, I'm sure we both agree, will start in this one. He will start alongside him. So there's no McSauce anymore. He's in Napoli right now. So no one McSauce. Who else have they got? Ugarte, do you think he'll start this game or do you think he'll be on the bench for this one?
I think he'll probably be on the bench.
Yeah, I agree as well. So that would mean Casemiro?
Casemiro will start. And hopefully we can overrun him in there.
Yeah, he looks leggy right now. I'm not going to lie. He looks slower than Fabinho. In terms of the advanced three,
who
are you going for on the left? You don't have that many options, to be fair. I feel like it'll be Rashford.
That little, I'm not even going to say what I would call him. He's got so many goals against us, and sometimes the performance is so average, but then he gets a chance to put in. Watch him have the same chances against other teams, and he puts it wide or hits the woodwork.
Yeah, it's facts. Well, it's true. Okay, so yeah, as annoying as it is, it's going to be him. And on the right, do you think they'll continue with Diallo or
they'll continue? I think they'll continue with Ahmad.
Yeah, he looks impressive.
Good player. He's good player, man.
I do. Yeah, I agree. I do like him. I think he's a very talented player. Yeah. And number 10, is it Bruno Fernandes or Mount?
Yeah, the rat Bruno. I think Mount picked up a knock, but even if he didn't, I think it will be Bruno in the 10, and then I think they'll start Xerxes. And they'll interchange because Xerxes not an out right 9 anyway. He's more like a 9.5 type of thing. Link the play up with that. So
I can see him interchanging with Rashford. So Rashford ends up coming a bit more here.
Yeah,
and goes in like that. So it ends up being that kind of formation. And then you've got Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, that could go there as well. Yeah, the free roll.
Yeah, the free roll there, and then
he needs. That's the thing. Bruno needs to be watched as much as I cuss him.
Yeah.
He needs to be watched, and that's why
he does.
It's essential that we are on point in the central midfield as well.
Yeah, because Zertsky is an interesting player. I watched him a few times for Bologna. He likes to check the channels. He's not a winger because a lot of people are phrasing as a winger. He's like you said, like a between like a 9 and a 10. Because he's very
floats. Yeah, he floats around, man.
Exactly. So very sort of play with a lot of flair in terms of how he plays. Decent finisher as well, so we all need to be wary of him, I think.
Yeah, that was a good finish against Fulham.
Yeah, it was decent, to be fair.
Little depth finish. It was a good finish.
It was a quality finish, to be fair. So I feel like in this team, we've highlighted, I think Bruno Fernandes is the danger man because he's got that free role now. Amad Diallo, I feel like make sure we try and keep him on the byline so he's on his right foot, which obviously he's not as effective with because he likes to cut in and have more of an influence from inside the field. And then Rashford as well. He always seems to get these clutch moments here and there. So we've got to try and keep him quiet. But in terms of weaknesses, we spoke about Dallo earlier on. I feel like Casemiro is one as well, where Szoboszlai, who I will probably say as a 10, would probably need to be a bit more aggressive in this game. Do you know what? Let's flip over to Liverpool. We'll talk about Liverpool tactics more. But I feel like Casemiro would be one that we got to work around. Dalot as well, and even Mazzarri, as good as he is on the ball, defensively,
he can be good at.
as well.
Yeah.
So we can definitely try and target him and try and get the best out of that position. And with Luis Diaz on fire right now as well, or Gakpo, whoever you want to play.
Diaz will dribble past him at least once, but it's about what he does afterwards, because that's all we want from Diaz. Wonderful player to watch, but we need output.
Exactly. So let's go on to Liverpool team. So in goal, it's not really a debate, is it, in terms of who starts?
Kelleher. No.
And then left back, who would you go for? Because I feel like a lot of fans are wanting to see Tsimikas start. Who would you go for?
I'm fine with Robbo. I thought Robbo was Ipswich iffy at times, but against Brentford, I thought he was brilliant against Brentford.
Good. I agree.
Thought he was absolutely brilliant against Brentford. But yeah, I've been surprised. The socials have been getting onto Robbo since the end of last season. Like, he came back from injury. They went on like he didn't have injury or whatever. Like, they've been onto him. But yeah, he's one of my favourite Liverpool players in the current team. So I'm never gonna get on.
I think the criticism is slightly harsh. I do feel like he's lost a bit of speed, but I think that comes from age and
he's 30 now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's picked up quite a few injuries over the last couple of years, which he didn't do so much when he first joined the club. Obviously, when he joined, I think he was slowly embedded. And then I remember Alberto Moreno had that injury, and then he took his place, and the rest is history. So for me, I feel like in terms of end product, Robertson's still the better player. Tsimikas for me is just not consistent enough. That's why he doesn't get.
In terms of pick, it's crazy because Robbo, obviously, him and Trent are the leaders in assists for defenders in Premier League history. But in terms of like pinpoint crosses right on the head, Tsimikas is probably better at Robbo than doing that. But technically, Robbo gets into some of if this brother practices shooting more, he gets in some of the greatest positions in the fullback.
2 goals against Brentford. He had that low shot on the near post, and then he had that header as well. So he could score 2 goals.
I don't mind the ones on Sunday in terms of the way he finished them, because at least he hit the target. But over the previous seasons, he has shanked some shots from some. I'm like, yo. And then you see some of the goals that he scores, and you're like, so you can score that. But when you was right in front of the goal, you dragged it wide, or you show it over, or whatever. But
he scored like right-footed shots as well over the year.
This is what I'm saying. But wonderful player, man. Wonderful player. Obviously, not at those heights a few seasons ago where I thought he was the undisputed best left back in the world. But obviously, he's not that anymore. But still, I'm still a huge fan, man.
No, totally agree. Right back, he might have threw his dummy out of the pram the other day, but he still starts in the team. So that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Centre back, I don't think we need to debate into the Van Dijk, but who would you start alongside him? Would you? Or would you start?
Keep Ibu in there, man. Because with the team playing slower, he looks like he's being more. It's still early days, but he looks like he's a bit more decisive in his decision making because he's slower. It was a very good second half against Ipswich. Even his passing, as well, because some Konate, as we've clearly seen, he thinks he's actually better on the ball than he actually is, and sometimes gets caught. But he looks a bit more decisive playing slower. And the good thing is that when Trent wanders off, Trent in Wonderland, Ibu can go over and cover that right-hand side competently when it almost goes to like a 3 at the back. So I'm fine with Ibu there. Though I think Quansah's the future, man. I think he's going to have a good long Liverpool career. And it's actually good he faced that early doors from Slot, so he doesn't rest on his laurels, because Slot's the type of manager from what we've seen that if Quansah made that mistake he made against Man United last season, the 2-2, he would have got dragged straight away by Slot. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Klopp will leave man there. But
he'll leave him on, I feel like Quansah appears to be a bit more cutthroat in terms of his team selections, and you have to be if you want to be elite, if you want to be winning trophies, and you want to be at the top. So I don't mind it, to be honest with you. I know some fans were a bit like, that's a bit harsh on the kid, but got to teach tough lessons sometimes, and that was probably one of them. But I agree, he's definitely the future of the club in terms of his position in the team. there's nothing to suggest that he won't get game time this year. He will get a lot of game time. It's just that I feel like Konate is a bit superior in terms of his dominance in the air. He's more aggressive in the tackle. His passing, yes, he looked a lot more assured on the weekend.
Yeah.
I remember him zipping a lot of passes towards Mo Salah with the right speed. Sometimes he just hit a bit wayward, or he'll go for like a lofted pass, which, you know, when you're playing quick passing football, that's not what you need. So so he's a bit more measured in terms of what he's in. Maybe under Jurgen Klopp, when you're playing a bit more of a high line, he probably felt the pressure of if someone hit the ball long, then you know he's having to cover his position as well as Trent's, because you know Trent's inverted and he's playing like a midfield role to an extent. So it didn't help his cause at that time. But I feel like he's looked quite assured in the last couple of games I've seen him. So yeah, I think he deserves to remain in the team. In terms of the double pivot, any changes, or would it be what we've seen?
No, yeah, it will be Grav and Mac.
I agree. I don't think I don't think there's any other. There's not many options. We've only got Endo on the bench because Jones is not available. So this is what I'm saying. We need to strengthen.
A fit Curtis Jones, it would be interesting, and I think as well, England's squad got done today. I think if Jones was fit, due to obviously his history with Lee Carsley, I think Jones would have been in the England squad still.
Yeah, he would have. I think he will. I actually think he'll do a decent job in this role. I know some people have a question mark over his role playing in his double pivot position. I feel like he can do what McAllister does, where he's not over adventurous on the ball, but he's very good at holding the ball, number one, and also
receive it on the half turn and can go past a man, and
exactly. That's the key for me, because you have to be very smart and astute in terms of on and off the ball when you're in that kind of role. That's why Thiago was so good for Bayern Munich when he used to do those half turns and he can display the ball around. So that's the kind of specialist we need in our midfield. So
if Thiago was able to have been fit for longer, Liverpool's fortunes in the last couple of seasons would have been completely different, man.
I know. One of my favorite players of all time, not gonna lie. But
wonderful footballer, but the injuries too much. We knew before we got him, to be fair, but it is what it is, isn't it?
We were gassed. I'm not gonna lie, I was over the moon when we signed him. So yeah,
outrageous baller.
You know what I mean? So okay, number 10 position. This is, I think, debatable for a lot of fans. Who would you sign?
He's gonna pick Dom, but I want to see some Harvey Elliott up in there. I think put Dom in because Dom's gonna play, but Harvey Elliott, like the guy. And the thing is as well, Harvey, even when he came on, he went out to the right when he came on against Brentford, didn't he? Get Harvey in the centre and he'll keep things ticking over. He's going to pass it forwards. He's getting more confident in his shooting. He can turn a man, receive it on the half turn again, which is important in the system when you're going to be making a lot of short passes. Like I'm a huge Harvey Elliott fan, bro. Huge.
I think he's going to have a big season. I know he hasn't started games as of yet. But I feel like he's got such a big role in the team because he can play on the right. And in the number 10, I feel like he's a different profile to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai is more power and pace in terms of running with the ball and shooting. For me, Szoboszlai needs to shoot a lot more.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Where's the shooting gone? When he first come, the goal against Villa, the left-footed one from the corner, the goal against Leicester in the cup. Where has the shooting gone?
He's this is what I which is
found out about when he was at Salzburg. This is what I first found out about him for. Him licking the ball in from 25 yards and 30 yards on a basis. Even there's some bangers for Leipzig as well when he moved. Like, where's the shooting gone? Like, this guy, before the injury last season, he was in my Premier Team of the season. Then he got injured and he came back after that. And it was like he couldn't even complete a 12-yard pass.
No.
And he's shooting left him and whatnot. I don't know what. But admittedly, because of the football that we was playing, we ran him into the ground. We don't beat Newcastle 2-1 with 10 men if it wasn't for what Szoboszlai was doing out there. We killed him. You get what I'm saying? So hopefully now he's conditioned a bit better to be more durable for the season. But
because he had a phenomenal start to the season last year. He was really good, and I'm on the same boat as you. I had him as one of my picks for team of the season, like midway. And then the second half was just I can't. I can't really back my guy now. Do you know what I mean?
Right, the capitulation was crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was a big drop. But I feel like just to defend him slightly, I feel like in the couple of games that I've seen him play for Arne Slot, it might be a tactical thing where Arne Slot doesn't want him to shoot from distance, just because I feel like when he gets that position, he hesitates a lot. Like I feel like it takes him a few seconds to figure out, should I shoot? Should I go with my instinct or should I pass? So I feel like it might be a tactical thing where he's still getting accustomed to the coach's tactics. But I feel like once it's clicked, then I feel like you'll see him playing a bit more of sort of like a free role and expressing himself a lot more on the pitch. So I'll just defend him a little bit, but I feel like it feels like a more tactical approach because in the final third, I feel like we're conducting a lot more passes than we normally do under Jurgen Klopp, where it was a bit more like on the sort of counter and just try and ping 2-3 balls and then try and score. Whereas now it's a lot more build-up play. We're trying to make sure we kind of not score the perfect goal, but it does feel like at times where it's more intricate and one-touch passing here and there. I feel like with this free roll, he'll definitely flourish a lot more.
Yeah.
Like you said, last season we run him ragged because he was basically the new Henderson, where he had to cover Trent
so
when he
much
bumped forward.
Oh god.
Yeah, and that is not his game. Like he's got a fantastic engine, but I feel like that was
imagine coming from Bundesliga where it's slower, and then coming Prem and then doing that every single week. The guy, we killed him, bro.
We almost killed him. So I feel like he will. I'm hoping big things. I'm a big fan of his. I've been a fan of his since Salzburg, like you mentioned. That's where I heard about him because he was scoring absolute screamers for Salzburg. Like it was ridiculous. And then he went to Leipzig. Obviously, parent clubs moving over, and he continued to form there. Played in different roles, so he definitely became a bit more versatile player. And I feel like in our Liverpool team as a number 10, I feel like that role suits him the best. But having Harvey Elliott as an option for me is such a good thing because different profile and he can come on and really change the game. So if in the second half we're struggling to break United's defense, because let's be honest, they're going to play a low block. That's how far they're going to.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're going to look to hit us. They're going to look to hit us. On the break.
Counter. So for us, it's like having a Harvey Elliott come in at a certain moment of time. I feel like could be pivotal in how we play. So I agree. I think OZWRLD will start this game and then expect to see Harvey Elliott come on later on the pitch.
Yeah.
On the left, who are you choosing? Because on the last show, I remember seeing your comment saying, put Gakpo in there. Are you still saying Gakpo should start? Or
I've been screaming another one for PSV. I'm just screaming Cody Gakpo. Output. Everyone loves Diaz, but Cody had played false 9, which is just how you want to play, and at least 4 times he started this at 8 for us, bro. An 8.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like first game of the season last season against Chelsea, I was playing as an 8, bro. Out in there destroying. Only good thing about when he plays this because he's decent in the air. He was winning some aerial duels and that as well. But if I was picking the team, I would put Gakpo in there, but it will be Diaz. There's no reason off of the last game. There's no reason to not start Diaz on the left hand side. But over that spot to me overall should be Cody Gakpo's spot because Diaz played. Obviously, he had the issues with his dad. Thank God, everything got resolved there.
Yeah.
But he played in his favourite position the whole season, and Gakpo in all competitions outscored him, and he played all over the place. He played like 5 different positions for us. So.
Yeah, he did. I think with Gakpo, the interesting thing that I'm liking from his cameos off the bench, he knows exactly what to do when he comes on. Like it doesn't take him time to adjust.
Yeah, so he just goes in there straight, boom, and then when the cut, he's going to shoot. Like unlucky not to score on Sunday.
Yeah. So I feel like he's definitely going to have an impact, and I feel like same case as Harvey Elliott, where just because he hasn't started the first few games doesn't mean he's not going to start throughout the season. He's going to get a lot of game time as well. And that's the good thing that we have signed Chiesa and we've got 6 top attackers. I feel like by far we've got the best front line in the Premier League. I feel like head to head, I feel like there's not many teams that can match us. obviously you probably debate.
This is why, bro. This is why all of us want to get the DM and
DM,
get the
I know,
left-footed centre back,
I
because
know.
as a team, though we've not made signings, and though some people feel that we're being privileged, like non-Liverpool fans are being privileged or whatever, this team here, I still see it finishing third. Though there's no Klopp, but
Agreed.
there's opportunity with City selling Alvarez, with the fact that I think Arsenal have been very lucky with injuries in the last 2 seasons, and they might just have the injury problems that the likes of us and Newcastle and Man United have had in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
There's a window here to proper put the pressure on, and I don't think we're going to capitalize on it.
That's the frustrating thing, and that's what the way I've described the ownership. We lack ambition. We lack ambition as a club, and that's not from the fan base. That's from the owners. Where we're not asking for £50 million, £100 million players. We just need certain players to come in and fit the gaps that we need to address. And look, you've got all these scouts all over those. Are you telling me you can't just find like a 10 million player that can do? Because it doesn't need to be a big name, in my opinion. And it's always debated when, like, oh, it should be a certain pedigree. I feel like it needs to be players that have played at a decent level, but can also continue their progression at the club. Because a lot of like the DM, I think would probably want a starter, if I'm being honest. But the centre back position, it doesn't necessarily have to be a starter. It can be someone that can learn the role a bit more and like a young prospect rather than anything else. So I don't know. I totally agree. I feel like those are the two areas of our team now where if we can add quality to the squad, yeah, we're able to compete. And I'm not saying we're going to win the league or anything like that. I feel like we will compete in all cylinders. But look, 24 hours, less than 24 hours. I'm being hopeful right now. After that, then you're gonna hear the real talk from me. Right now, I'm just crossing fingers.
Man's holding it in, trying to have some optimism left.
I'm trying. So I'm giving Richard Hughes a chance now. He brought in Chiesa, but I didn't expect him to. So he's off my forward watch for right now. But
for 24-hour pass.
For 24 hours, and then we'll talk afterwards as well. So we'll see what he is able to get done over the line in the next day or so. But in terms of right wing, yeah, we don't need to debate this one. I would love to see Chiesa on the bench, though. I don't know if it will happen, but it would be good to see him there, just so it might add a bit of a fear factor to the United fans. Like, oh shoot,
Salah's scoring on Sunday, by the way. Salah's gonna make it 3-3 this season.
I see it. Not gonna lie. Up top, who are you going for?
Oh, Joe all day, man.
Can I ask your opinion on Nunes? Where do you stand with him right now under Slot?
Not to Arsenal. I watched your show a couple of days ago. Not to Arsenal, but if Nunes, it's 2 years now, bro. We haven't got time for the patient thing. If he was younger, he's 25 now. If he was younger, then I understand about having patience, etc. But he is 25 now. He's played in the big competitions. He's played in the Champions League for Benfica, etc. beforehand, so the experience was there. He's just not. We need that. I wanted a finisher, and Jota is that finisher, but Jota always picks up a knock. When Jota goes down, I get scared, like I clutch my chest, because I always think that. Because the thing as well is that he's had games before for Liverpool where he's been fouled, continued to play the rest of the game, and then you find out on the Tuesday or the Wednesday that he's out for 4 to 5 weeks. You get what I'm saying? Like, if we can keep Jota fit, Jota will bag a minimum of 16 league goals. Minimum. He has the ability to outscore Salah. And just because of the fact that Mo he's playing with this a lot more as he's gone on at Liverpool. So therefore he's cool to drop back or go in to hug the touchline and thread passes. It's not as always 100% as aggressive and assertive as it was as earlier on in his Liverpool career, which always would come in and shoot when there would sometimes be other options on. He is willing to play inside now. We actually, from him improvising, came up with our best move in the Brentford game. We started playing that one touch, and then if we scored at the end of that, that would have been an outrageous goal. You get what I'm saying? So but this is the thing. It's a big if with Jota staying fit. So Nunes will get his minutes, but if someone came in and offered 50 million for Nunes, don't be taking a loss. I'd flipping take that, brother. I'd take that.
I don't think he's progressing since he's joined the club. That's the
he's
concern.
gone backwards.
Yeah, like
he's gone backwards.
And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but he's doing the basics at a very low standard. So when I'm saying basic, I'm talking about staying on side, number one, as a striker. He's not.
That would help.
That would help. He's finishing in terms of like one-on-one and also all around the sort of the 6-yard box. I feel like he just lacks that calmness in front of goal. When he's one-on-one, I don't know what happens to him, but he just feels like he just needs to hit with power.
He just
there's
shoots.
No precision. There's no technique.
He's not checking he's not checking necessarily where the goalkeeper is. You get what I'm saying? Because he's not a natural. Like we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled because some of the strikers that we have had in the last 30 years. Outrageous. Remember, we had Morientes for a brief period, and we know how good a finisher he is. But we've had Fowler, we've had Owen, we've had Torres, we've had Collymore. You get what I'm saying? And even there was a Suarez. Yeah. Even there was a stage where flipping Sturridge we've had as well, natural finisher. You get what I'm saying? Even there was a stage when Heskey and Milan Baros, I don't know if you remember it, were doing absolute madness for us lot back in the day. Yeah, we have been spoiled. But unfortunately, we never had the defences in the midfield. So trust when we've had the defences in the midfield, we've got a great finisher in Jota who can't stay fit. And then we've got a man who just shoots, bro. He just shoots. He doesn't even look at where shooting. He just shoots. This is why he hits the woodwork so much. This is why he allows the goalkeeper to make saves so well. Look at the Everton game as an example. There's numerous examples because he's with so many chances. The ball comes through to him after Salah. It wasn't even necessarily a pass, but Salah tried to turn and then ricocheted to come through to him. He just shot the ball. He didn't think keepers coming. Let me try and slide it to the left or the right of him. Maybe even I just don't get what goes through his head. Voices, Randy Orton business. Voices in his head. I don't know what he's on.
Yeah, because I know a lot of fans are saying that under Onslaught he'll be a little bit more composed because we're under
because we're playing slower with it, so they think he'll be more composed. But he's not. He lacks. That's the point. He lacks composure. The way he plays, because he's like a flipping Tasmanian devil in there. His game should be more suited to clock ball rather than slot ball. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like bang, 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 score. But, so I don't know. Like,
I think this will be addressed next summer. Like, obviously, if someone brought a crazy amount right now, like someone from Saudi, for example, then obviously we're talking. But generally, I think this will be addressed next year because I don't think he's gonna have a starting role in this team when everyone's fit. I feel like he will be more of an impact sub this year, more than anything else. And touch wood, if Jota stays injury free, then we've got a killer in front of goal. And also, just to put in the mix, Chiesa can play up top.
There you go.
That's not a bad option, is it?
What I don't understand
in front of goal as well. So
exactly.
Adds to our locker.
What I don't understand as well is that a young player we have that has shown he has composure and has a variation of finishes is Jadon Danns, and they were trying to force this guy out on loan.
Yeah. What's his situation? Is he still at the club right now?
He's still at the club right now, but we could create an outstanding forward there. He showed the composure in those cup games last season. He showed that his movement, he's got good movement in that as well. Take him, nurture the guy, but instead they want to force him out on loan. And the thing is that I'm not ever optimistic. Though obviously it's a new head coach now in slot about players that go on loan at Liverpool. You very rarely, bar Harvey, you very rarely see someone in the last how many years go on loan and then come back to Liverpool and then get the adequate minutes and opportunity to prove something. I thought Cavani might be the first this season to break the mold, but it wasn't to be. So Dan's play the boy, man. The guy can finish. Like, keep him there and play him and let him get the experience in the minutes and develop a quality forward. Develop a quality forward there. I don't get it.
I think if he stays at the club, he has to be utilized. Because the games that he came off the bench, he looked more effective than Nunes at times.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
And then even I remember that I can't remember who the team was, but when he ran down the right side of the area, then he just dinked the ball. It was a very nice finish that he did last season. I forget who it was, but he showed me that he has composure and he has the intelligence of choosing the right shot at the right time. Darwin Núñez doesn't have that in his locker. He doesn't know when to side foot it, when to smash it. It's always the wrong shot selection, if that makes sense. So and at 25 years of age, I feel like that's something you should have learned by now. I'm not trying to be rude here. I just don't feel like he's an elite striker. He doesn't have the mentality to play at the club where when you're a striker, you need to be calm and composed, because there's a lot of games where when you play the big teams like we are going to do in the Champions League with the likes of Real Madrid and the AC Milans and all those teams, you might only get one chance in that game. You will not get a lot of chances sometimes. So once you get that chance, you need to be ready to execute a shot on goal. Same with goalkeepers. That's why Alisson's ahead of the rest, because he might be chilling for about 70, 80 minutes, but he'll make that spectacular save to get that 1-0 win that we need. Does that make sense? So I feel like with Núñez, it's just not the right fit at the club. I just feel like we've given him 2-3 years now. It hasn't worked. We need to move on, because we've signed strikers over the years where we've given that season and be like, yeah, he's not that guy. So like Benteke, anyone thought Benteke was gonna cook. He didn't. Sold him the following year, made the same money. We sold him to Palace, and we moved on. So we've got to do that as well. I feel like it might have been too much of a big task to do in this window. Maybe Arne Slot wanted to see what he could bring to the table, but from what I've seen, it's the same old. I don't see any improvement, unfortunately. So
no,
for me, it's not going to work. So this is our lineup, guys. I can see a few more comments on the chat. So Daz, big up. This is his lineup. So he's gone for Alisson, Trent, Ibu, Van Dijk, Robbo, McAllister, Ryan, Dom, Mo, Jota, Diaz. So same.
Do I want Gakpo with that? I don't think that. I think that will be the team.
Yeah, Double D would prefer Gakpo on the left, but he believes that Arne Slot will start on the left. Ashik, big up. Ashik, he says, I hope to get a signing.
We all are, man.
We all are, brother. We're
praying.
I'm praying for 2, so I'm being a bit greedy now.
Then again, we're praying for it to be in the right position, one of 2 positions, though, because backwards FC as we are at the moment, we'll probably go out and flipping by a striker.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you just sign someone like Tony, like out of the blue? I like Tony, I'm not gonna lie. So
I'm a huge Tony fan, but that's not essentially
what we need.
What's needed at the moment, unless he wants to play DM. You get what I'm saying? I mean, so.
I know, like that would be the question. Like, can he play as a 6? Like, obviously not. But yeah, we'll see. You never know. We'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. Philip Bidwell says, "Big up Ozzy and your guests." Yes, big up Philip.
big up
for coming on, and that's it, Philip. Big up to Philip there as well. So that is our predicted lineup, guys. Score predictions time. So Dan, let me know. What is your score prediction?
As I was saying earlier about playing the occasion rather than the match, but so I actually, in terms of my head is telling me that we're going to draw, unfortunately, but my heart is saying we'll beat them by the odd goal.
Okay.
2-1. It's going to feel weird when that first goal goes in under Slot because against us, because when was the last time we opened up the season with 2 clean sheets? So you get what I'm saying. So it's going to be a weird one, like because of the control and the game management that we're showing, we're not getting bar. Maybe the first half an hour against Ipswich, and even that wasn't repeated shots on target. That was more them territorially getting to us than creating clear-cut chances. We've looked composed and managed the games all. It's a difference because as great as we were under Klopp, and at one stage we were battling, like fighting to be the best club side in Europe, we weren't always 100% in control of football matches. In fact, a lot of people think the football, though we showed brilliant control when we won the league, a lot of people think the football in the Liverpool's best team was the 18-19 team or the Champions League, the 19-20 team. So yeah, I'll go for the win by the odd goal. But honestly, those under new management now are playing a much slower game and manageable game.
Yeah,
United just, and the thing is that they won't even play good, but because it's Liverpool and the fans will be loud there for once, yeah, the prawn sandwich eaters will make some noise because it's their biggest rivals. They just find something from somewhere. They
I
just
know.
find something. So we've got to put them to the sword because if we do play our football, we could destroy these guys. It could be another 5-0. I'm not even joking. We can slap them 5 again. I'm not even playing with you, bruv.
Anything's possible. I'm not gonna. I hope we shut them up this weekend. I'm probably going a bit above. I think we're gonna continue our momentum of 2-0s. I think we're gonna get our third
Come
2-0.
on, energy. Energy.
I'm going for a clean. I'm
Yeah.
going for a clean sheet. I think we're going to educate the United fans in Old Trafford on how to play football. So yeah, I'm going for a 2-0 win. I'm going for a 2-0 win. And my goal scorers are Diaz and Salah. I think Salah will definitely score, like you mentioned as well. I think Salah will definitely score as well. So
Yeah, I think
those are my two goal scorers. Got a couple comments here.
Salah
Daz asks, "Would you bench Chiesa, Ozzy?" I would love to bench Chiesa.
Yeah.
I just feel like the club won't rush him in this situation. But yeah, I'd love to see Chiesa come off the bench. If he scores, oh, even better. Even better. Can you imagine that? So yeah, I would love to see Chiesa on the bench. I just don't think it will happen, to be honest with you. And Daz's score prediction, he's gone for a 3-1 win to the Reds.
Come on, Daz. Energy. Come on, son.
So yeah, so let's hope we can make it happen. Before we end the show, just want to do something quick and fun and ask Dan to reveal his season predictions. So I did mine and posted on social media. So I just wanted to get Dan's intake before we close the show. So who is your top 4?
Ooh.
I know a lot can happen in terms of the window,
This
but
is what I'm saying. There's 24 hours still to go, and we
yeah,
might have to
as it
revisit.
stands, who would be your top 4 right now?
We might have to revisit that after. So this is the one I did, and there's not really been too many signings since then to make me have to alter it too much. But a couple of weeks ago, we did our season preview, and I had City winning the league, Arsenal second, Liverpool third, and I was battling with Tottenham or Newcastle for fourth, but I went with Tottenham because I thought Solanke would do a job, Madison be firing, and I said this season Kulusevski has to show up because he's gone backwards. Because when he first come to Tottenham, the way he was cooking people, and I actually like Brennan Johnson, though he receives a lot of criticism. So yeah, I've had so yeah, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham was my top 4.
That's the prediction I had as well. In terms of relegation, obviously it's not a nice thing to predict, but who do you think will get relegated?
I said unfortunately I think all the 3 that came up will go down. Though because Leicester are probably going to get a points deduction because they're because they're not Man City, are they? So they're going to get a points deduction. But you know who? If there was to make a change, I'm going to be honest with you, because I don't think they're going to do any business in the forward line. Everton fans would have every right to be worried right about now.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah. It would mean no more Merseyside derbies temporarily, but Everton fans could be worried right about now because, though I thought Tottenham would beat them, I was not expecting them to get beat 4-0. They started really well against Brighton, but then fell to a 3-0 defeat. And I fear that they're going to have, not fear because I don't care about them like that, but I feel they're going to have more games like Brighton, especially at home, where they have a half an hour where they could score 3 or 4 times, and then they just concede at the other end. And they've got a few injuries at the moment as well. If Tarkowski gets injured too, boy.
Yeah.
So if anything, then if it was to be Everton I put in, then out of the 3, I'd probably take out. Who would I take out actually? Ipswich. I want to say Ipswich because of the fact of I like what Kieran McKenna's done. They look like they're going to mix it up because they played a lot of. They always conceded too many goals in the Championship, but they they've looked like they're going to mix up a bit. Like they were very direct against us, more direct than they were when I saw them in the Championship last season. So if they can mix it up like Brentford learned to coming up, they could have enough goals in Smodic, the lap, etc. They may be able to get by us, but I think Leicester will go because of the points deduction. Southampton play some good football, but need to take their chances. They should have got a draw at least playing against 10 men against Newcastle. So those very early. So so I'll go with the three promoted teams up. But if I was to take anyone out, I'll take out Ipswich. Because they're going all out in the transfer market. Doesn't necessarily will different work, but I believe in McKenna. I believe in McKenna, and then I would put Everton in there right about now, due to going off for 2 games, small sample size, but I'll go with that.
Because I did my prediction 2-3 weeks ago, so I'd gone for Everton, Ipswich Town, and Leicester City, but Ipswich Town have impressed me, and I feel like they've recruited really well. So. I'm doing an official prediction show next week, so it might see some alterations there.
Southampton getting Ramsdale though, right? Because I believe Brereton Diaz will get goals. So one thing about Ramsdale is that though some of the stuff he does is questionable, like I don't believe he's the best commander of his penalty area, but he's got great distribution for a goalkeeper. But one thing is that he's a good shot stopper, and he's one of them keepers that when they're kept outrageously busy, they seem to pull out even better saves. So Southampton, the way they play, are going to concede shot this season. So if he can have at least 6 outrageous games this season, as long as they get draws and wins in those games, they might be able to stay up. But then I don't know who I'd put in because Brentford, so unless it's then Ipswich that would take that place, because Brentford I feel will have enough, whether Tony stays or not. Just about, because I think in Buemo Vissa they got goals there, and then they have like Janel and Norgard, and you get me, all these Jensen. Someone will pop in with like 5 or 6 goals from midfield as well, and Carvalho there now. Obviously, I like Damsgaard, though he doesn't play as much as I thought. So I think Brentford will be all right. So I'm struggling for another team there, so to pull into that. To be
maybe Wolves. I feel like Wolves haven't. Well.
Yeah, losing Neto is huge. It doesn't look like they're going to give them all the money, but I just think that Gary O'Neill, even if it was to be a case they'll be in a dogfight late in the season, I feel that he's got enough tactical nous to create overloads in the midfield for them to get 1 or 2 surprise results, as well as beating teams around them that will give them enough points. But Cunha has to stay fit. Because I'm a fan of him. I'd prefer him over Nunes, for instance, but that's a whole nother show right there. But Mateus Cunha is a decent player. I like Sarabia, though he's not necessarily getting the minutes and whatnot. But what's his face? This Sean Larson, he's starting off. Larson looks decent. It's all right. Should have scored against Arsenal. Decent save from a rare hedge, and he scored obviously against Chelsea, and he got slapped. But that'll be full at Chelsea game. Wolves' XG was higher than Chelsea's.
Yeah, I know.
And they've got beat 6-2. So don't look at that. They're going to get thumped and concede 6 every single week. But
they were just clinical. That's all it was.
I think Wolves will just about be okay. It's my belief O'Neill rather than the squad at the moment. The squad losing Neto, etc. The squad, but their captain Max Kilman losing these players. These are huge players. So it's my belief in O'Neill rather than the squad. So if they were to get dragged into it, it wouldn't be a massive surprise. But at the same time, with what I believe O'Neill could do tactically, I think that they'll be okay.
No, that's fair enough. Who would be your surprise package of the season?
Ooh. Do you know, if you ask me, it's only 2 games in, I would have said West Ham, but I don't know what they're doing.
That's why I wrote, but I might have to change that selection as well.
But then saying that, the signings that I thought would make the difference, he's not really played them yet. And winning at Palace is not easy. That's a huge win. So you can't, I'm more going off of the home defeat to Villa. So you could still say West Ham, as long as Lopetegui can say things. If Palace still had Elise, I'd definitely go with them, because I felt in the last 3 months of last season they played the best football in the Premier. It wasn't even close, bro. They were cooking teams.
They were. Lucy was on fire. No, I totally agree with that one. Underachievers.
hopefully the team we play on Sunday. Ask me this again after Sunday, because if I say it now with Cheston, we might drop points there. Also, as well, though, another one, it could actually be Villa. Because of the figures of Champions League football, I don't see them coming as high as they did last season. Douglas Luiz is a massive loss, though I actually like Onana. But Luiz did a lot for them. He was their penalty taker. He took corners and free kicks. So yeah, not because of any fault of Emery's, because regardless of what happened at Arsenal, I'm a massive Unai Emery fan.
Yes, definitely.
From back getting Valencia in Champions Leagues before getting them so qualified for the Champions League with Valencia before those Europa League wins with Sevilla. But I just don't think they're going to have as good a season, and especially if Ollie Watkins doesn't fix up.
Yeah, he looked poor against Arsenal.
He doesn't look fit, does he? And he's Russian. No. He's Russian. He made that Arsenal should never have been able to come and get a clean sheet in terms of how the 90 minutes went, but it's what it is. So yeah, I think it might be Villa. Some may view that as a hot take, but I think it might be Villa.
It's a fair assessment, because we spoke about the new format of the Champions League. It's going to be robust. It's going to be a lot of games. So it's not going to be easy to manage, especially for a newly team like Aston Villa, where they're not accustomed to playing European football season by season. So
he might have to do what, though it was a tournament Southgate wouldn't do, and he might have to drop his main striker. He might have to have Watkins off the bench, and we've seen, especially for England, how effective Watkins can be coming off the bench, because Duran looks like he's more natural when he gets the opportunity to shoot at goal than Watkins is.
I'm still on the fence of him. I don't know what to make of him. He's a bit eccentric for me. Like, sometimes he looks like he's decent. Sometimes I feel like he's forgotten how to play football. So he's a bit out there for me. I'm not sure what to make of him. I don't know how to rate him as a player right now. So
you don't usually see someone, because he got 19 Premier League goals last season, didn't he? You don't really see someone that gets that many Prem goals. People have their doubts about him, but I see what people are saying. I mean, snatching at shots and that sometimes, but
no, that's fair. Who is your one to watch?
What, team or player?
Player.
Minte.
Yeah, that's what I said as well.
Brighton, because Newcastle didn't want to sell him, but they had to sort it out because of PSR. He actually was briefly linked to us, because obviously he was on the slot last season when he was on loan at Newcastle. I think he's going to cook. Shown glimpses already. That assist for Matoma when they beat Everton, and in terms of having the FPL hat on, I completely overlooked Brighton because I didn't know what to make of Ursula. But I've been made to swiftly regret it after 2 games, because they're doing similar things in terms of. I think Minte is gonna do his thing.
I agree. He looks really talented. Someone that kind of caught my eyes was Savinho, but
I didn't know much about him. He's looked really good so far.
I know. He looks good, but I think he's injured now, so he's out for a few months, I believe. Like, he's picked up a big.
Oh, that long? I thought it was just going to be a couple of weeks. Wow,
that's what I heard. So I don't know if that's official, but you can't believe what you hear on socials. So I heard he's out for a long time.
No, you're probably right. I just assumed. I heard he was in. I just assumed that it would be a brief one. Oh, that's bad for them. Yeah, he's looked good so far.
Because, not entirely sure. So don't quote me on that one.
Yeah, but with City getting Gundogan back, the way how quickly Savinho settled. De Bruyne looks revitalized. I can't look past City. Though numerous people want Arsenal to win the league, I think for those outside of Arsenal fans, I think it's more because of the fact that they just don't want City to win it again. I can't look past it. And Foden still like to get going. So boy.
Arsenal for me haven't addressed the biggest problem in their team. That's the striker. I feel like it just hasn't.
They'll be stingy at the back. But I don't like. I don't know.
Bit of a confusion, but let's see how the season pans out. And to end our predictions here, top scorer. Who? I think that's an easy question. But
you can't look past Haaland, can you? But I was talking with some old work colleagues, and nearly all of them picked Isak to either be joint with Haaland, only finish 1 or 2 goals behind Haaland, or for Isak to get the golden boot. But I can't look past Haaland. And Haaland's less likely to get injured out of the two as well, though he did miss like 2 months last season. You can't look past Haaland, because the thing is that he's going to have quite a few games where he hasn't really turned up in. But when he has runs, the goals will come by the truckloads. There'll be hat-tricks and braces, and he'll be able to accumulate goals to win it for the 3rd season in a row, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. Can't look past Haaland, to be fair. I think it'll be another season where he scores a countless amount of goals, and I feel like he'll probably up the hat-tricks as well and top that table at some point. So, you can't look past him. Just got a couple of comments there before we close the show. We've got Richard says, hi, Ozzy in chat. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to you, Richard. How are you all doing? All good, thank you. Hope you're well, Richard. He says, please, can you talk and break down about Man United game, League Cup draw against West Ham and UCL draw? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks. Big up, Richard, for your support there.
Yeah, big up, Richard.
We've literally covered all of those topics in the last just under 2 hours. So, make sure you hit the replay button. And, we've covered all those and spoken about in huge detail. So, make sure you check that out later on today. And he's also commenting saying, when are Liverpool going to get in a DM and centre back?
We spoke about that. We both cried about that as well.
In the right place, in the right area, which we've spoken about in huge detail. I thought I put the energy out there for Varela, but then James Pearce came down and dismissed it straight away. Killed my joy, party people. So it doesn't like level game Varela. But who knows? We've got 24 hours remaining of the transfer window. Me and Double D are hoping that we can get someone through the line.
We're praying.
We're praying. We're doing everything. So we'll see what happens. But one more day, and then let's see what Liverpool can do. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Double D, big up yourself as always. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Appreciate your time as always. Please let the people know where to follow you in terms of your socials and your channel, and let them know what you've got coming up as well.
At Double D, that's DUBUL DWE on all social media platforms, and I am part of the D&D Football Factory. We go live. Sometimes we podcast, but mainly the reason why we don't have to is because every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. we are live on Top FM. That's 95.5 FM in London. But if you're not in London, best to listen on the On Top FM app or the TuneIn Radio app. And we go live at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, I said, with the 40 on Top show. That's from 10 a.m. until midday. Also, as well, you can find me on the FPL War podcast. Will be coming back soon for No Choftes and the Shoot the Defence Network. But the European pod we're doing weekly now. Again, that's me and Coach Kojo from Free in Midfield. So that's No Choftes, or the NCs, the NC _ network on Twitter. The No Choftes, so on there as well. So that's where you can find me.
Big up Double D as always. No, appreciate you coming on, and speaking a lot of stuff today in terms of the game, but also surrounding transfer rumors and stuff. So big up as always for coming on. I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more content during the season. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak to you all very, very soon. Goodbye.